Hello and welcome back to Better Than Data. My name is JJ Reynolds, and we're going to be hopping into some 2023 planning. It's going to be really exciting because we're going to look at how you can plan out 2023 if you're an agency, consultant, or even just a small business. We've seen this whole system work up to about $10 million. After that, we need to go to a more robust system. So here, we're starting with this, and we're going to go from here. Okay. Without any further ado, if you have not taken the Better Than Data GTM template and installed that on your website, go do that at betterthandata.com/YouTube. It's super good. We have WooCommerce, ThriveCart, Shopify, and a form for you to submit the improvement of others, 100% free, nothing like it on the internet. Okay, let's hop into it, y'all. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this spreadsheet. If you want this spreadsheet, go to the Better Than Data/YouTube and hit reply to any of the emails and say, I want the spreadsheet for 2023 basic planning. Just hit reply there and I will give it to you. And I will actually respond because it's a real person that's running this Better Than Data. Okay, so what we have here is we have our data streams. I'm gonna improve the size of this just so you guys can have a little bit more, and I'm gonna get rid of my head. So what we have is we have the streams of revenue. This is then you can look at 2022. You can add a new column if you'd like to, if you have more information going back further. Usually people get overwhelmed when we start with this. And so we want to just give them a couple things up front. So here, let's start with 2022. Break down all the different buckets that you have. So in this case, we're using the agency style of things. So we've got like our enterprise, small business, and projects. Then we've got subscriptions for Better Than Data that are auto billed. So these are all the auto bills of people over on Better Than Data that are doing great things. We then have the affiliates, for example, like Active Campaign. If you can sign up using our account, you get a little kickback there. And then we have white label pass through for people who want to manage everything and then the team do the work. So how does this work? What you want to do is just hop in here. So let's just say you did $50,000 in enterprise in 2022, and you'd like to increase that a little bit. Then you have projects. Let's just say you did $15,000. We're just using numbers that are attainable here. And then in 2023, you want to do $20,000, right? So here we are increasing things as you see, Better Than Data. Let's say we did $30,000 and then we want to do $50,000, okay? Moving down, we got SaaS. Let's just say we did our affiliates. I think it's like, I don't know, probably like $2,000 is what we make. Let's just say we want to double that to $4,000, not $40,000. That would be a great 1,900% improvement. And then maybe you have pass through and we have things like this. So this, again, this is just a very basic example, nothing real crazy. Okay. So this is not like, we're not trying to get you to dive into your P&L and dive into all those things, which you also need, right? This is more for marketing and say, okay, this year we did this much. Next year, our goal is to increase to this amount, and then this is how we're going to do it. We're going to break it down in these different aspects of our revenue. I would highly implore you to break in, even if you have services, if you're a service provider, break it into the large, the mid, and the small, just so you have an idea of how those kind of play with each other. You also want to make sure, just make hyper sure that you know if you're doing products, if you have product lines for your e-commerce store, break it into the different product types, because it's extremely helpful just to start with that. Again, this is high level, not P&L, not nothing too crazy. But this will give you a say, hey, here's where we are. This is what we did. This is where we're going. This is what we want to do. So then that way you can say, okay, we're trying to increase by 62%, hypothetically. How does that look? You can say, okay, our goal here is to go from here to here, here to here, here to here, or growing here. You can see that the small business projects is the biggest growth lever that we're trying to pull. And now you have a way to plan for that. Then once you have this, we're going to hop into this other tab of the work basic annual report. This is where things can go back and get a little bit more spicy. So just, if you're not a spreadsheet person, don't worry. I'll explain it all. What you want to do is you want to start with all the way back as far as you have 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Just put in your revenue numbers and start here from like a marketing perspective. Again, you can use your P&L, just copy and paste it over. It's just helpful to have it in a non-P&L format. Unless you love like those types of things, use that. So here's where you can start to get even more granular. Is what you want to do is you want to look at January and you say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to add the subscriptions of Better Than Data. We're going to add 20 here with the average cart value of $200. In the agency side of things, we're going to add on 2 new clients that are going to be at $4,000 here. And then we are going to add on another product of things that is going to be, we are going to add on 4 at $1,000. All right, so now that you have this framework, this is where things start to get really fun, is because you're actually planning out what's going to happen based off your different verticals in by month. We had it previous, right? Here's your start. Like, this is where you want to start with your goals. You're like, whoa, here's what's happening. Here's what we're planning to do. When you're kind of like in your brainstorming session is like, hey, we've got this for 2022. What are we doing in 2023? Then you've got this, which is much more granular. You can then hop in here and say, hey, 2023, we got January. We then have the subscriptions. We have the average cart of those subscriptions. We have the agency side of things, the average cart of the agency. We then have the products. And then my absolute favorite column is what are we going to do about it? So this is where my WAGDI acronym that we like to use with clients is what are you going to do about it? And this is where you're saying, hey, we are going to focus on enterprise messaging and B2B conversations. Everything else is on the back burner. Okay, so now you have that inside of here. What are you going to do about it? So now you can say, like going into 2023, you can do this for every single month. What is the big thing you're trying to do? And how should this be reflected in these numbers? Maybe you're going to double the price of your product. You're going to go from 200 to 400. Maybe you're going to do something else. So this is where you can look at the entire year and plan it out for every one of your products. You just add more of these. How many are you going to sell? And then what is the cart? We've got a more advanced one. Again, this is the basic. If you can see way up there, it's the basic one where you take in rebills to account. This is just for acquisitions. The basic level of what are we going to acquire? How are we going to acquire that from a marketing perspective? So that way you can have your plans right here. What are you going to do about it on the far right, where you can start building out systems from there. The last thing that you want to do is as you are building things out and you're like, I don't know the answer to this question. Like, why are we going to do lead generation? Are we not going to do lead generation? Are we going to do something else? Just put in your ideas. Be like, hey, let's test a lead gen option for everyone. Our goal is a cost per lead. Leading indicator is 40% lead conversion rate on the page, right? And then you can say who owns it, and this is where Susan owns it. And the extra notes is that we need to make sure we use X, Y, and Z tool. All right, so this is where you can just drop ideas in as you are planning out your 2023, and it's all in one spot. Yes, you can get more advanced. Yes, this is less than a P&L, but this is for marketing. Allows you to focus on what you're trying to accomplish and work backwards off of that, breaking it down by product and what you're trying to do from a marketing effort. So I hope this was helpful. If you want it, just go over to betterthandata.com, join the email list, hit reply and say, I want this. And I'll send you a copy of it personally with a little video. It's going to be exciting. So again, if you have not yet, head over to betterthandata.com/YouTube, fill this out, let me know. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave a comment down below on how you can plan your 2023 to be successful. See ya.